It is my great pleasure to welcome you to the world of learning new concepts and current trends, so let's start. When you first enroll in higher education, you are immediately hit with a staggering volume of requirements. Between the dozens of assigned articles, the textbook chapters, and the live virtual lectures, the sheer amount of information is overwhelming. Most students try to handle this workload using the exact same habits they use for their everyday lives. They approach academic study like passive media consumption, trying to read textbooks the same way they read a novel or scroll through social media. This slide outlines a stark reality. In higher education, you have to read a lot in a very short space of time. Trying to read every single word of every assigned text from cover to cover will leave you mathematically out of hours in the week. You need a different approach. You have to upgrade your system, shifting your behavior away from being a passive consumer and transforming into an active learner. Pushing harder and staring at a computer screen for 10 hours straight won't save you. Survival requires a deliberate strategy to process information efficiently. The first step is to abandon the idea of general reading. Before your eyes even scan the first page, you need to establish a purpose. This document lists the specific reasons we read academically. You might be reading to understand complex ideas and theories, to acquire hard facts and data, or specifically to find support for your own arguments. This slide shows why defining that purpose matters. Your specific goal directly dictates the amount of time you spend looking at a text, and gives you the permission to skip entire sections that aren't relevant to your goal. When your purpose is to grab the core idea without getting bogged down, you use skimming. This is the active tool of extracting the gist while aggressively ignoring the minor details. This slide details the anatomy of skimming. You skip to the title, abstract, introduction, conclusion, and major headings. Then, extract the first and last sentence of each paragraph and content words in bold. Everything else is ignored. Skimming gets you the big picture, but scanning gets you the data. Scanning is the rapid visual hunt for a specific, predetermined piece of information. You actually do this in everyday life. Think about hunting through a dense restaurant menu just to spot the vegan symbol, or dropping your eyes straight to the bottom line of a payslip to check your total. By applying these targeted reading strategies, you bypass the filler. This reclaims hours of lost study time and actively prevents cognitive overload. This active mindset extends beyond your textbooks and right into the digital classroom. Logging into an online lecture is not an excuse for passive presence. You have to manage your physical environment. That means securing a quiet, isolated space and setting up proper lighting so your brain registers that it's time to work. You also have to manage your virtual environment. Keeping your camera on is a psychological trick that forces you to stay focused and builds an actual rapport with your lecturer. At the same time, you need strict microphone discipline. Staying muted ensures sudden background noise doesn't derail the session for your cohort. The biggest mistake you can make is trying to multitask. Attempting to attend a live class while driving a car or working a shift guarantees you aren't retaining the material and poses a physical danger. Even if you are sitting safely at a desk, simply listening is insufficient for memory retention. You need active processing. Active processing requires taking highly rigorous notes. Developing your own customized abbreviations and shorthand forces your brain to synthesize the lecturer's words into concepts you actually understand in real time. By aggressively controlling your physical space and forcing your brain to process the material, you turn a one-way virtual broadcast into a high-retention dialogue. All of these tactics build toward a single outcome, evolving into an independent scholar. The university environment requires you to seek out answers yourself rather than waiting for an instructor to spoon-feed them to you. A powerful protocol to force this independence is the rule, before you ask me, ask three. When you hit a roadblock, you must consult three distinct sources, your textbooks, your personal notes, and your provided class materials, before you seek direct intervention from your lecturer. This self-reliance also applies to how you handle your grades. The final stage of the academic loop is the reception and processing of external feedback. A passive learner looks at critique and feels punished. An active learner looks at those exact same comments and sees targeted, high-value data designed specifically to improve their next score. Success in higher education does not rely on raw intelligence. It relies on the deliberate, aggressive control of how you intake information, engage with your environment, and process the results.